Hi, I'm Darren Walker. Tonight on Inside Louisiana Softball, Head Coach Gerry Glasco is back in town to preview the upcoming week for Ragin Cajuns softball. Later, Dan McDonald and Ragin Cajun Hall of Famer Yvette Girard break down softball's postseason potential. But first, Coach Gerry Glasco joins me to discuss the historic weekend series versus Georgia State. You're watching Inside Louisiana Softball. Welcome to Inside Louisiana Softball. Darren Walker joined, as always, by the coach Gerry Glasco. And Coach, quite the week. Records broken, history made. But we're gonna postpone that for just a little bit because you were obviously out last week in North Carolina, playing 5 games against App State, Campbell, UNC Greensboro. 5 games in 5 days and 5 wins. Some of those you had to get that done with the bat. Sometimes you had to get it done with pitching and defense. Just talk about that trip overall.
Yeah, it was a good trip for us. You know, we really let the kids bond during the day and played games at night. And we had minimal practice, so we just competed, which I thought was really good for our team. And I felt like the kids really got closer as a unit and as a, built team camaraderie and enjoyed the trip. And it's a spring break, so we want to do some of that kind of things. But then on the field, they played really well. I'm thrilled with their effort at App State. We were working around a lot of rain delays and changes, and even at one point during one rain delay, we went back to the hotel, changed clothes and changed uniforms and come back out. And I thought they responded extremely well to that rain delay. And then went over to Campbell, who's got a very good first-year coach, Sharonda McDonald, and playing really well right now. And we got a good win there. And went back to UNC Greensboro the following night on Tuesday, the last night of the road trip. And our kids really, I thought, played a really good game there and come out there with, I think, a 6-2 win.
And just talk about, keeping that competitive spirit and that high level of competitiveness when you have to keep playing every single day.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we jump on a plane the next day and no practice, come in, fly in. We got in, I think, at 11 o'clock on Wednesday night, and then immediately jump right back out for a conference series against Georgia State on Thursday. And I was able to have hitting groups and practice work on our hitting a little bit on Thursday morning. And we did that all 3 days, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We had early hitting and kind of got back in the swing of practice routine with our bats. And the kids responded well with, I think, 32 runs in 3 games against Georgia State, who hadn't been run-ruled the whole year in conference. Although one loss record is not the best, but they're a real competitive, scrappy team and very well coached by Coach Roger. He's a really good coach, and they're just having an off year, but I thought our kids played really well in that situation.
You mentioned getting back late, but it had to be really nice to be able to sleep in your own bed for the first time in a week.
Yeah, it really was. It felt just being home was good, and then we picked up a lot of energy, and I knew we would from the fans at Lamson. We had great crowds all weekend. The crowds were amazing, and the enthusiasm of coming back home give us some adrenaline and helped us get through that fatigue of playing. Right. I think 9 or 10 games in 12 days.
So let's get to the Georgia State series. You start out with. Julie Rawls had a great night, her 10th home run in the first game of that series and 6 RBI, and she kind of led you to that 10-2 win. Yeah,
she had a really good 3-run homer. She had a bases loaded single. She's just a really nice player, and she kind of went through a little, every hitter in the season, they'll have a hot time and they'll have a time when they struggle a little bit. She struggled for a couple of weeks, and now she's really coming back and hitting the ball well for us again, and that's important for us to get her going down the stretch. So I was thrilled to see her have a huge night with 6 RBIs.
Game 2, you continue to dominate the Panthers. Sarah Hudek gets her 10th home run of the season. But the big news in this one was obviously Keely Milligan getting the 52nd stolen base, setting the record. Dorsey Seymour stepped back in 1992, 27-year-old record. Just talk about what that moment was like, not just for you, but for the team.
It was really exciting because it was kind of, for Keely and myself, is something we talked about during the recruiting process last summer after she transferred, and I said, if you come here, we'll set the record. We'll commit to setting the school record, so you'll have the school record at Texas A&M, and you'll have the school record at Louisiana, two really good softball programs with a lot of history between those 2 programs. It's a credit to her that you can even make those kind of statements, because it's not as easy to steal a base now as it was a few years ago. The defenses have evolved and the game's evolved, and Keely's one of those elite speed kids. She's really quick, and she plays hard. She slides extremely hard at the end of her steal. And so one of the best base runners in the game. So I was excited, and the fans love that. I mean, they've always had power here, but they enjoy her speed, and she captivates the crowd and gets the enthusiasm of the crowd. It's kind of like a slam dunk in basketball. When she steals a base, our crowd really pumps up. So it's good for our team. We get a lot of adrenaline out of her running.
And talk about what it does for your offense, though, because a walk, a hit batter, or a single, and it almost turns into a double and then a triple.
Yeah, she's so good that, like, you just say, hey, we're going to steal second and we're going to steal third. Get on base, and I'm bringing you all the way to third on the first two pitches, and she likes that. Like, she gets excited about that, and man, it's a coach's dream to be able to just take a walk or a bunt and make it into a triple. And so if she leads off an inning and gets on, it's pretty hard to keep us from scoring in that particular inning. And it's been huge for our offense to have her there top of the order. Game
3 on Saturday. You finish 8 games in 9 days. Summer Ellison gets a milestone of her own, her 500th career strikeout, basically doing that in 2 years. And then Lexi Como finishes the game with a 3-run homer, and you win this one 10-2.
Yeah, it's really good to see Summer, back out on Lamson and dominating. And she's a really special pitcher, and the numbers she's putting up this year with her wins and her strikeouts, and the strikeout to walk ratio is phenomenal. She's just a really special talent in the circle. Fields her position extremely well. People overlook how good a defensive pitcher she is. But really good to see Summer back out there dominating, and she's feeling good. She's really healthy. Excited about going down the stretch with her. And then great to see Lexi, a senior, get to hit that home run. I wish it could have been senior day, but it was, it's getting down close to the end of we got 3 more home games. And so it was great to see her, get to experience that walk-off. And she said she didn't even realize it would be a walk-off, but as watching her run around the bases, hearing the crowd roar at Lamson Park for their senior, who they all know only has a few games left, and it was really a special moment.
Let's go over some of these things. I'm not going to even try to memorize all of this, but over the course of this weekend, you set the record for the best start in Sun Belt Conference history at 19-0. You picked up wins 40, 41, 42. You're the second team in the country to get to 40 wins. In 2019. Your 21st consecutive year, the Cajuns have hit the 40-win mark. You've already secured the Sun Belt regular season championship with 2 weeks to go in the regular season. So my question for you is, how much do you guys as a team embrace like the celebrating of these moments, or can you not really do that with the fact that you're in the middle of a series?
Yeah, no, I told them, when they broke the record, I said, look, you broke the record. I didn't realize that when we won our 18th game, we tied the record until I got home and read it. And I read it the next day in the paper. And so I made a point to congratulate them after 19, 20, and 21. And I'm going to continue to do that because I want them to feel good about what they're doing. And as long as we stay humble and work really hard in practice, the key is just make practices really we're going to make them tough. This next 10 days, we're getting ready for postseason. Practices are going to be a little bit more intense and a little bit tougher. And we'll keep that humble mindset, but at the same time, I want the kids to recognize that they're being, that their hard work is paying off.
The Ragin Cajuns are now 42-4, 21-0 in conference, and we'll see if we can add to that next week when we come back and talk to you more about the upcoming schedule later on in the show. But first, as we inch closer to the end of the regular season, Dan McDonald and Yvette Girard join us to talk postseason next on Inside Louisiana Softball.
Look at me in the eye. They bleed just like you bleed. There is no apprehension. There is no fear. Bottom line, they got to come through us to get this done. All right, we decide what happens. We dictate what happens on that field today. Together on 3. 1, 2, 3, together.
If you're happy and you know it's Zydeco. If you're happy and you know it's Zydeco. If you're happy and you know it, then your feet will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it's Zydeco. If you're happy and you know it, Mange.
perform, you need speed, skill, strength. With every muscle, every move, you push your body to reach its full potential. But sometimes you just can't push through the pain. That's when you know it's time to address it. So when injury puts you on the sidelines, trust us to get you back in the game. Lourdes Sports Care, the team behind your team.
So here at UL Lafayette, a lot of the classrooms and a lot of the programs here are trying to implement technology as much as we can. It's, advancing every day. So a lot of the classrooms try to build on the technology and help you prepare for day-to-day life that you will actually use whenever you start your career. I absolutely love the university app. It's super helpful. I use the mobile app to check emails, to do all my finances on my phone, my schedule of classes. In our Moodle program, it's basically an online classroom for each class where you can talk to your professor, turn in assignments, chat with classmates to keep up with the classroom. And it's very helpful whenever you can just check an assignment or check when a due date is right then and there on your phone instead of having to open up a laptop and do all that.
So to take an online class, it was super user-friendly, super easy to understand. The PowerPoints were so easy to follow. The teacher was talking through the PowerPoints. It was like a video. So it's just so cool to be able to almost be in a class and not be in a classroom at the same time. And I can take it at my own pace.
It really helps me stay on top of my game and succeed here at UL Lafayette.
Welcome back to Inside Louisiana Softball. Time now to hear from Dan McDonald and Yvette Girard as they break down the Ragin Cajun softball season as we inch closer to the postseason.
Thanks, Darren. I'm Dan McDonald, along with my regular broadcast partner, Hall of Fame coach Yvette Girard. And Yvette, I guess it's a sign of where this program has been in the past that last year this team went 41-16, a record that a lot of teams would just kill to have. And a lot of people considered it almost a down year, but there were a lot of trials and tribulations last year. This team may never get as much credit for what they did last year and accomplishing what they did. This year, they've come back with a vengeance.
Well, I said all last year that Gerry Glasco should have been the coach of the country in the year, because you think about the fact that he didn't even know his players' names, much less get to practice with them in the fall, and he takes the job and he's just got to start playing in the spring, so he can't make a lot of adjustments in their swings and change a lot of things because you just don't have time to work on all those things. But now you can see the Gerry Glasco influence on this team. There a ton of transfers. He brought in an influx of talent. There is no stop sign from Gerry Glasco at third base. He's got the Cajuns off and running. Fantastic pitching, and oh my, the hitting has come back with a vengeance.
Are you surprised by this, knowing Gerry Glasco as you do?
No, I'm not surprised. He has so many contacts in the softball world. I don't think he's ever going to have a problem recruiting, and he's a very good coach. So, he's going to win, and this program will continue to just dominate in the Sun Belt as they have this year.
You talked about this team can still pitch, they can still play defense, and they still run. But this team particularly, as the saying goes, they dig the long ball.
They do, and boy, don't the Cajun fans dig that long ball. Everything in our game has been geared towards offense in the last 10 years. And of course, the Cajun fans have been very, used to and seeing that long ball hit here. They've been, just accustomed to home run city, and it's back again in full force.
We talked about hitting. 14 months ago, we didn't know who Summer Ellison was. She really came out of nowhere and surprised a lot of people. What does she do that has made her so much improved over the pitcher that was around here for the last couple of years?
Well, Dan, you said it. I read the box score that first night when she struck out 20, and I said, who is Summer Ellison, and where did she come from? Because that's going to get anybody's attention, 20 Ks in one game, but the fact that she's from Lafayette, Louisiana makes it that much sweeter. What she does that's so good that a lot of pitchers can do is up and down. And there's a lot of good rise ball pitchers and there's some great drop ball pitchers, but she's got both. So she's changing eye plane. She's got a fantastic changeup, so she's changing the timing of the hitters, and really that's what pitching is all about.
This lineup up and down can be dangerous, but one person we've talked about all year, Alyssa Dalton has just been unbelievable. I think there's one number that jumps out at me. In the 16-game winning streak the Cajuns had between mid-March and mid-April, she hit .550. Now, that's not .550 on base. That means she is getting hits 55% of the time she comes to the plate. That, to me, is just an amazing figure.
How much fun is she having? There's no question when you walk up to the field and you watch just the way they move about, the players move about, your attention and your eyes go immediately to Alyssa Dalton. You can just tell that she's special, and is she ever special? She's got that mental approach to hitting, and she's just confident in herself, besides God giving her all of these natural talents. But what a streak, .550, my gosh. Again, she's having a lot of fun playing softball.
The Sun Belt Conference tournament's coming up in mid-May. Of course, the Cajuns will be a big favorite to win that tournament, but they're thinking past that. They're thinking long-term. In fact, Gerry Glasco has already said he's not sure if he wants to be that number 15 or 16 seed, even to host a regional, because then you get paired up with that 1, 2, or 3 national seed. You've been in this situation before. You've been coaching. Do you think about that sort of thing?
You do, but you have so little say in it. I mean, yes, you have a lot of say about working and winning on the field, but it's so up for grabs. Sometimes you have no idea what this committee is thinking with some of their pairings, and sometimes you do get lucky in the draw, and sometimes you get, to put it mildly, the outright shaft. But so, your job as the coach and the players is just to keep winning.
Regardless of what happens, the Cajuns are going to be in postseason play in the NCAA tournament for the 29th time in the last 30 years. This lady was part of a lot of those, and they're going to be back this year regardless of what happens from here on in. For Yvette Girard, I'm Dan McDonald for Inside Louisiana Softball.
Next on Inside Louisiana Softball, we look at the week ahead with head coach Gerry Glasco.
Truly, there is something for everyone here, from moving image arts to nursing to petroleum engineering to education to voice to photography to political science to anthropology to sociology. I can't list the almost hundreds of opportunities that students have to find the perfect fit and the major that best represents what they would love to do.
We have alternate certification programs, master's programs, doctoral programs, in addition to hybrid and online classes. So a student can definitely find his or her passion as far as what they want to do.
Not only are we going to find the major that is the best fit for our students, but we're going to make sure they graduate. We have one of the highest graduation rates in the state, and among our student athletes, in fact, we have the highest in the Sun Belt Conference.
Knowing that UL Lafayette has one of the top graduation rates in the state makes me feel much more secure in my decision to come here, and it makes me feel very excited and confident for my time after I leave campus.
We have everything here to be able to make sure that the students have the support they need as they go through the process. From a writing center that'll look over papers and proofread them for you, to free tutoring services that students can walk in on demand and say, physics is not my thing, can you please give me a little bit of help? We have prep classes for the GRE, we have prep classes for the LSAT. We look at medical school and pre-med and law school and business school. We have MBA programs. We have many, many PhD programs so that students can further their education as they progress.
Welcome back to Inside Louisiana Softball. Darren Walker joined once again by the head coach, Gerry Glasco. Time now to look at the week ahead. You have your last midweek game of the season coming up here, Louisiana Tech in Ruston. The Bulldogs are 36-12, and they've got 5 bats in the lineup that are hitting well over 300 and a couple of really good pitchers. So you're going to have your work cut out for you this week.
Yeah, they're a really well-coached team. Coach Montgomery's got them playing well right now. And, they're at the top of their conference, and it's going to be a battle, and we're going to go to them on their field. That's another good thing because we want to be able to win on the road. We want to be comfortable on the road. So I'm glad that we're getting back out there this week and give us one road game. And it's anytime you're interstate rivalry, it'll be intense, and the intensity will be great. And we'll have some fans up there that may be the only time they get to see us all year. So I'm glad we're going up there, and I look forward to this. And it'll be a tough game, no doubt.
And then Coastal Carolina comes to town, Girard Field this weekend. The Chanticleers, they're 32-15. And I had to check this a few times because I thought this statistic was wrong, but they're hitting 257 as a team, but they have 74 home runs. I mean, they're really crushing the ball. So I guess in the circle this weekend, the mistakes are going to have to be at a minimum because they'll make you pay.
Yeah, I think they led the nation in home runs last year, and definitely one of the top home run hitting teams in the country again this year. And they got power, and they really swing for the fence. So, that's one of the things that we've done. We've given up a few home runs. So I know they're going to look at that like that's a good matchup, and we can change the way we pitch a little bit. We'll probably throw a few more drop balls and a few less rise balls, and we'll try to keep the ball in the park. But I'm looking forward to it, and they're got a really good RBI. They're up in the top 100 now, so it'll give us a good. This week should be a good. We hopefully can get back that spot in the RBI that we lost last week.
On the flip side of that, they do lead the conference in strikeouts. So it'll be interesting dynamic with Summer, who's basically a strikeout pitcher, facing a team that does strike out quite a bit.
Yeah, I like the matchup with Summer. I like Summer matched up against anybody, and and we look at it. We need to win every single game, and I've been looking at it that way since early in the year, and I think we've won 27 of our last 28 now. We just got to keep going and keep doing the little things and play good fundamental sound softball, and Summer will do her part if we can play good defense behind her.
The Chanticleers rely heavily on basically 2 arms. Their main 2 pitchers are 32 and 13 on the season, so almost every decision that they've got for the whole season. Talk about those 2.
Well, same pitchers they had last year, and they change speeds well, they locate well. They're veterans. They're veteran pitchers, and for us, it's a matter of they do walk a few batters, and so our hitters have really developed their ability to make a good pitch selection, to take the balls that are borderline and really try to key in on a good pitch to hit. And we'll stay with our focus on that. And I think that we'll be able to draw enough walks off of them that when we do get hits, we'll be able to produce runs.
So this is the last home series of the season. If the Coastal Carolina offense and the pitching dynamic and all that wasn't enough to get you out there to come see these girls play, it is the last home series of the season. This Sunday at noon will be Senior Day. Allison DeVille, Keely Milligan, Lexi Como, and Cara Grimion will be honored pre-game. I would imagine maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes before the game. So go ahead and get on in there early to see that recognition. But just talk about what they've meant to you as a coach coming in here last year and just what they've meant to you in the program.
Yeah, it's just a great senior class. Cara Grimion plays the game. I like coaching her as well as any kid I've ever coached in the time I've coached college softball. She plays so hard and she practices so hard every day. And she's a quiet leader. She doesn't talk hardly ever. But just her intensity and the way that she practices just provides great leadership for a ball club. And Lexi Como is a great communicator and really kind of a mother hen figure around the dugout. She's always looking out for everybody and always says the right thing, has great vocal leadership, and then she's just huge with her bat in critical moments. And last year I think back to regional when she went 9 for 16 at LSU, and she just really, she's picked up some huge hits for us over the last couple of years. And then Allison DeVille is one of all-time favorite players. They're one of our fan favorites. And you're talking about a fifth-year senior that didn't hardly pitch for 3 years. got on the mound a little bit last year, and then she just keeps working. Most kids would just retire
Right.
and go on with a professional career, but she loves softball. She'd stay another year if we'd let her, and her leadership has just been huge because of her work habit and never accepting, just trying to get better, doing any little thing that we ask her to do. And now all of a sudden she's really stepped into closer role and become our closer. And every time she goes on the mound, the kids get so excited in the dugout when she's on the field. You can just sense the excitement, and she gets a huge boost. And then, of course, Milligan transferred in with 1 year to play from Texas A&M, and she's become a fan favorite here at the park. And she's brought speed to our lineup to another level. And we stole a few bases last year, but now we're able to make that stolen base a huge part of our offense and a critical part of our offense. And her practice habit has been huge for us, and her work habit in the strength conditioning program. She's an outstanding weight room kid. Her work habit is phenomenal, and so she's really helped our ball club in terms of physical conditioning and buying into the weight room program, which we've tried to emphasize since I've been here.
Gotcha. Thanks a lot for the time, Coach. Get out there and honor those seniors on Sunday at noon. Coming up next on Inside Louisiana Softball, a more detailed look at the upcoming schedule.
Intact! Together! Discipline! Time! 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 Intact! Together! Discipline! Time!
At the University of Louisiana at Lafayette, our Ragin Cajuns spirit goes beyond athletics.
Lafayette feels like a big city that offers everything but a small town vibe.
Well, to simply describe the culture here in 3 words, it would be joie de vivre, which translates to joy of life, which very accurately describes Lafayette, Louisiana.
There's Festival International, which definitely celebrates so many different cultures and brings in music from all over.
There's tons of parades that are held in the Lafayette area, and there's actually parades that come right through the campus. So if you live on campus in one of the residence halls, you can literally walk out your door and walk to a parade during Mardi Gras season. No need to worry about finding parking or things like that. It's literally right outside your door.
So there are tons of great green spaces outside, like Girard Park, right by campus. There are so many students who go and set up their hammock and read.
Here they have just as many chain stores as anywhere else, like Costco, Walmart, Target, Whole Foods. But then there's also many local boutiques and shops that you can experience as well. Lafayette has a culture unlike any other, whether it be from food, live music, or events around town. You can always experience the culture in many different ways, from po' boys to crawfish etouffee to parades. Lafayette's got it all.
Thanks for joining us on Inside Louisiana Softball. Here's a look at the upcoming schedule.